Hello. So now we are going to understand the importance of visual effects and how to understand the terms. Hello, Óscar. Hello, Susan.
Hello.
Nice to have you here. And first of all, Susan, what visual effects are?
Well, one of the first things I want to tell you is that there's no magic tricks or shortcuts to doing visual effects work. You really need to have a command, not only of conventional filmmaking techniques, but also understand the digital tools and computers, because virtually all films these days involve some sort of visual effects. So, what is a visual effects? Visual effects is the manipulation of moving images by photographic or digital means that create cinematic illusions that do not exist in the real world. In short, visual effects is the art of changing reality. On the other hand, special effects are much more easier to define. The term special effects refers to effects that are filmed in real time on set during production. People sometimes refer to special effects as mechanical, physical, floor, or just plain practical effects. Special effects can cover almost everything mechanical, like car crashes, explosions, gunshots, bullet hits, a lot of elements like wind, rain, snow, or fire. Special effects are also integrated with and can become part of a visual effects sequence. They are mainly in-camera practical effects. So the difference is visual effects is done in the computer during the post process, where special effects are done in-camera on set.
Okay, thank you. Perfect. So just to get into the virtual production, which are the difference between the volume LED based and the chroma based?
Go ahead, Susan. It's better for you, this one. And I will add my experience later, working with both technologies.
Okay, so what is virtual production? Virtual production is the use of real-time technology throughout production. For example, in-camera VFX is the ability to mix live-action footage and computer graphics together to create shots in real time, using an LED wall to composite shots in camera. In virtual production, the departments, they all come together and work more organically to create better stories. It is also particularly suited to workplace safety and social distancing, and it can reduce travel and on-location shooting costs by working in virtual production. And there are many scenes that virtual production is used for, like any traveling or moving shots like airplane, buses, cars, bicycle, boats, or any outside set windows or balconies or rooftops. The LED wall creates an immersive surrounding experience around the real scene and actors, and we refer to it as the LED volume stage. On the other hand, you can also put up a chroma key wall and still use virtual production to composite the shot, but in post. The background is created ahead of time, and you can play back on the set to see the comp only in the camera monitor, not on the green screen wall, to line up the shot. The difference is that the composite is done in post using chroma key virtual production and not in-camera VFX to output the final pixel of the scene. And Oscar, maybe you could talk more about the chroma key experience you've been doing in your studio.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much, Susan. Well, we have been working during the last probably 10 years in order to create in real time a virtual production that could compete not only with any other technology, but also with the traditional shooting. So that we are doing quite a lot of tests in order to compare traditional production, so that we can go to any location and shoot traditionally whatever it takes, and then do the same in virtual production with final pixel, with in-camera VFX, so that everyone is watching what is going to be the final delivery. So we have succeeded with this kind of technology, and delivering a 4K 10 bits quality video with feature film quality, and it has been a milestone, because I don't think there is any other movie that it has been done first traditionally shot. Let's say a short film, we shoot that short film traditionally, and then we shoot again in virtual production so that we can compare. So we have succeeded doing this, and we are very, very happy with the result we have achieved.
Mm-hmm. And
so,
adding to your experience, sorry, well, if you want to finish something.
Yes, it's okay. The question, please.
No. In your experience, you are working with chroma key. Now it's a green screen, but right now you are starting to have experience with the black.
Yes.
No?
I think there are many technologies, because at the end, virtual production, it has a background which can be volume, LED volume, it can be chroma key, and it can be many things. Also, it can be the reality with background removal technologies that can be also can happen in real time, and so that we can have this in-camera VFX, which is mandatory for the virtual production. So I think maybe Susan has a better definition about this, but for me, everything that has final pixel and in-camera VFX, we can call it virtual production, and it happens in real time. And right now, we are working with many new technologies for the background. One is LED volume, the other one is chroma key, it could be Luma key also, and we are working for Luma key with super black, one black that absorbs 99% of the visible light, so that we can key the black, this super black, which is not available in nature. It's so black that only with special cameras that are beginning to be available right now, which is those cameras that has a dynamic range that go beyond 20 stops. We have the ability to key that super black. So any other black should be gray. And this is amazing. It's something that is going to be very good, because we are going to avoid all the carbon footprint. It's going to be one of the shooting that is going to have the lowest impact in carbon footprint for the whole industry. So it works. It works because we are going to save a lot of money in power consumption. So we are doing lots of research in order to reduce cost and to expand the possibilities for virtual production. But we think virtual production, it has a background technology, and this background technology could be background removals through artificial intelligence, could be LED volumes, which is quite trendy right now, and could be also chroma key or Luma key, which are those technologies are right now also being quite useful in virtual production, since those technologies are also final pixel and are also in camera VFX.
Okay, let's talk about these backgrounds that you have said, or techniques. No, that's 2D, the 2D and a half, the 3D,
yes.
The nerve.
Yes,
what's that?
we can use many to reproduce the background. Once we have a virtual background, that means we are going to use a virtual set. No, this virtual set could be from a plate, which is 2D. We go to any location. We shoot that plate. We take close shots, wide shots, whatever it takes, and counter shots. And then we keep all those plates, and we go to our virtual studio, and with the same camera, same lenses, we shoot in with virtual production. So it is totally consistent, since we have measured the light, and we have measured every aspect on that scene. It is fully coherent, fully consistent, and our tests show that it is quite good result. Then we have another technique, which is 2.5D. So we have 2D plates, which we take with normal cameras. We have 2.5D, which those we mix with this technique, also known as camera mapping or projection mapping. We mix 3D objects with 2D plates, and this let you move the camera. And with those both techniques, you don't have the ability to change light. So once you have these plates, you are not going to be able to change the season, to change the daylight to night, whatever. It's not possible.
But you can move the camera.
You can move the camera slightly with 2D plates. You can move more, let's say quite more, with 2.5D, and then we have full 3D recreation. And this let you. There are many techniques to create a full 3D set. One is the recreation. You take a photo, and with a 3D artist, he or she start to work so that the 3D set is almost the same than the photo you have as a reference. You have to match the camera. You have to do many things, many techniques. Then you have photogrammetry, which is another technique. Quite interesting, and it means you go to a certain location, you take many photos, and there is a computer system that computes or calculates with all the photos the geometry, and it pastes all those photos into the geometry. So it gives you a full 3D location with the perfect texture mapping. With the perfect texture mapping, and it is quite useful. And then we have new technologies such as NERF, which is also something new based on artificial intelligence. And there are even new plugin for Unreal Engine called Luma that enabled us to use with very few photos, because in the other hand, photogrammetry means that you have to take lots of photographs for that, even to fly a drone, to take as much as photograph as you can, and it's quite time consuming, and also it is quite difficult. So there is a new technique based on artificial intelligence that you can use with a few photographs. It calculates with these algorithms. It recreates the whole space. The main benefit is the reflections. While the photogrammetry, the reflections are very bad, and typically you are not going to be able to imagine there is a lake, and you are taking from outdoor location, and there is a lake. This lake in photogrammetry is going to look very bad. But with NERF, the quality is going to be quite realistic, because the way it is calculated let you take advantage on that reflections. On the other hand, since it's not based on polygons, there are so many difficulties to manage NERF. So it's for early adopters. It's not for. It's something that is quite early to use, but is gaining traction, a lot of traction.
Wow. It's amazing, and at the same time it's quite frightening for me.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's scary.
It's speeding up the workflow. It's faster. So I think artists just have to learn the new tools. It doesn't replace them. You could just create a lot more creative content much faster, whether it's for visual effects or for virtual production. I think.
But on the other hand, you are not going to be able to change textures or to change lights or to change as you could with typical 3D system.
Yes.
Yes, we are working right now in with Omniverse because we are very excited with this technology from NVIDIA. It has what is called deep search. And out of 300,000 library, we can feed to the system photo, and it can build out of that 300,000 objects. It can build the object more similar and place in the right position, so that it can recreate a full 3D set with artificial intelligence. And we think this is the right way to go, and we are going in this way because you have the full flexibility to change anything, and since it is based on USD, which is the standard for everything right now, for VFX, for the metaverse, for virtual production, for almost everything, it's going to protect your investment, which is something very, very important. So there are many ways of using artificial intelligence. Nerve, we are amazed, is something incredible, but every technique has its benefits and its drawbacks. And you have to know in which one to apply to certain situation, and it is very normal. It's the job of visual effects supervisor to know perfectly in what cases is the best technology for the background in virtual production, if it is required to use LED, to use chroma key, to use background removal, whatever, and also to what technique to be used in virtual sets such as all of the ones we are talking about, and many others, such as light field, because something that we haven't talked about is light field camera, which is something amazing that probably is going to come in the few next year, and it is going to also change. It's going to be a game changer. Because since there is no need for focus puller, because everything you can manage the focus afterward, and you can change almost everything. It's quite amazing. Light field technology is going to change the way the camera is like more like a fly, a mosca fly. A fly eye, you know, with many lenses, is that way. So there is a lens called K lens from Germany vendor, and it's the first one that could work in normal Arri, Alexa cameras with this technology, light field. So you can change the focus after shooting, and you can also have the possibility to delete the background or do whatever you want. Okay. So it's like a fly eye.
Okay. So we have talked about a lot of names, no, a lot of terms. So Susan, can you explain to us? You are a member of the Visual Effects Society. You have edited two books, no? And then in these two books you have a glossary that is very useful for the people that maybe they are not very familiar with these kind of terms. Maybe you can show us these two books, please.
Well, the first book is called The Visual Effects Producer, and this really is understanding the art and business of visual effects. It has terms in it, but it also goes over all the planning in terms of pre-production, shooting, scheduling, budgeting. You know, it's really important that not everything has to be CGI. You know, there's a lot of traditional ways of doing visual effects, of using, you know, actors in suits or matte paintings or animatronics, motion, you know, motion and performance capture, as well as compositing. So it's good to understand the different types of technical terms, and that's what this book goes over very well, plus the glossary. The other book that I co-edited for the Visual Effects Society is called the VES Handbook of Visual Effects. This has become the industry norm, the Bible, for everyone that wants to understand or work in visual effects, understanding the best practices available today. And this is the third edition that just came out. So I think that also has a terrific glossary that covers all of visual effects as well. So I think it's important to understand all the technical terms of visual effects in terms of, you know, understanding what plates mean, understanding elements, understanding compositing. I think it's important to understand the entire umbrella picture in order to work as a contemporary visual effects artist. And it's also very important to have the glossary, you know. The Visual Effects Society, we're also putting out a new book called the VES Handbook of Virtual Production. And that is coming out this summer in September 2023. And that is all about virtual production. And it will be about 26 chapters just on virtual production. It's going to be its own Bible, which I think will be very important for everyone to read when it comes out.
Okay, that sounds amazing and very important for the industry, I have to say. Not just for your kind of industry, but for cinematographers, I think it's very, very important. And also for producers, no, to know how this works and how to name these things, no?
So them understanding the technical terms, also understanding how to schedule it as well as budget it. Those are two areas that are huge in terms of understanding virtual production.
Okay, so thanks for all, because we have ended our conversation. I think we have maybe bring more questions than answers for our audience, but I think this is the point, no? This is a huge industry, no? There's a lot to discover, and thanks for having us being here, for this interview, because it's quite amazing to have both of you, that you are very interesting professionals, just to bring in a little bit of your information for the rest of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you. I tell you, I have to say, I'm so pleased to have learned to work with Óscar on the Virtual Production Handbook. He did a marvelous job on his chapter all about green screen and virtual production. So it's been a big asset to the book. So I thank you, Óscar, for that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Susan.
Yes.
It's always a pleasure to work with you.
So we are going to pay attention in September. That is going to be released, the book, this new book, right?
Yes, September 2023.
Okay. Okay, so thank you again, and nice to having you here.
Thank you very much, Irene.
Thank you.